At the start of the movie, we see a massive spaceship slowly making its way through endless darkness, surrounded by billions of stars. The Starship Allen wasn't just any ship. It had 5,000 passengers and 258 crew members on board, setting off from Earth to build a new world. The entire mission was controlled by a fully automated system. Everyone was in deep sleep inside hibernation pods, set to wake up after 120 years. Everything was going according to plan, but something unexpected was about to happen. Friends, if you're into awesome sci-fi movies, you've come to the right place. For more amazing explanations like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. So without any delay, let's get the video started. Thousands of miles away in space, a massive rock was heading straight toward the spaceship. Without any warning, the rock slammed right into the ship. There was a hard jolt, and all the lights went out for a few seconds. The automatic system quickly took over, stabilized the spaceship, and brought it under control. From the outside, everything looked normal, but that small jolt had. A sleeping capsule got activated when it really shouldn't have. In one section of the spaceship, a hibernation pod slowly opened. Inside, a passenger lying there suddenly opened his eyes, looking around nervously. His body felt weak. On a screen in front of him, a digital girl appeared and smiled, welcoming him. The guy looked confused and glanced at the screen, then quietly said, "My name is Jim." The computer replied, "Jim, you are a passenger on the Starship Avalon. You have spent nearly 120 years in hibernation, and in the next 4 months, we'll reach our destination, Homestead Planet." Jim was still trying to pull himself together. His body felt numb. His hands were trembling slightly. The digital assistant on the screen started telling him he could now enjoy his journey with great food, entertainment, and lots of amenities. It all still felt weird to Jim. He went to the washroom, looked at himself in the mirror. His beard had grown a bit. After getting ready, he headed toward the main area, but as soon as he got there, his steps suddenly stopped. The entire spaceship was empty, not a soul in sight. There was no passenger, no crew member. He was all alone. Jim looked around everywhere but saw no one. His breathing got faster. He started moving forward slowly, then quickly began searching the entire spaceship. It was completely silent everywhere. He had no idea where everyone else had gone. He ran towards the control room where the crew's hibernation pods were kept. He tried to open the door, but the screen showed access denied. The door was locked. He peeked inside through the window and saw the captain and the rest of the crew in their pods. He was asleep, which meant there was nothing wrong with the ship. But where were the other passengers? He quickly turned back and reached a room where the ship's artificial assistant appeared on the screen. "Welcome to the Galaxy Virtual Experience. What would you like to see here?" Jim asked the computer. "Am I the only one awake?" But the computer didn't respond. He asked another question. "Where are we right now?" The screen replied, "We are still in Savor. There are 90 years left to reach our destination." Jim was shocked. He asked the computer one more question. "Are we from Earth?" The screen had said he left about 30 years ago. Jim was all alone, and now he had only two choices. Either live alone on this ship for 90 more years, or find another way out. You see, the computer that told him he'd been asleep in the capsule for 120 years was programmed that way. Whenever a passenger woke up, it gave them all the info, because everyone was supposed to wake up after 120 years. That's why the computer told him that. But now Jim realized he'd woken up at the wrong time. This should never have happened. He couldn't understand how it all went down. He asked the computer if he can send a message to Earth, and the answer is yes, it can be sent. So Jim records a message for Earth explaining that his sleeping capsule opened early and he woke up 90 years ahead of time. He says he needs help, then sends the message. But it's going to take 19 years for the message to reach Earth and another 55 years for a reply to come back. Hearing this, Jim gets even more worried. How is he supposed to survive alone on this ship for 90 years? He feels like there's no way out. After a while, he wanders inside the ship and spots the tender. He goes closer and takes a good look, only to realize it's a robot, completely human-like, even talking just like a person. Jim asks it how long it will take to reach Homestead. The robot replies, "Still 90 years to go." Jim then asks when the passengers will wake up. The robot says, 4 months before we arrive. Jim panics and asks, if there are still 90 years left, then how am I sitting here right now? The robot pauses for a moment. Then he says, "You shouldn't be here. You should still be in your sleeping capsule." Jim rushes out of there and heads to the tech room. Since he's an engineer himself, he hopes he can fix his sleeping capsule. Staring at the computer screen, he tries to figure out what went wrong. Then he gets into his sleeping capsule, hoping to go back into hibernation, but nothing happens. Suddenly, the capsule starts to close, and Jim gets trapped inside. He struggles with all his might. He pushes the capsule and somehow manages to get out. Exhausted, he just sits there. Now what? Living alone for 90 years was impossible. He tries to get into the crew section where the captain and the rest of the crew are sleeping, but the door is locked. No matter what, it won't open. Jim, disappointed, goes back to the bartender and asks for a drink. Jim drinks and says, "I'm the only one awake on this ship, and now I have to live alone for 90 years. Tell me, how am I supposed to do that?" The robot, without any emotion, replies, "You're not there. Learn to accept things as they are, where you're meant to be." Jim listens and gets lost in thought, then heads to the ship's most expensive room. His own room was pretty basic, but this one was full-on luxury. Jim walks around the room, lies down on the bed, and realizes he'll have to live his life just as it is now. Days go by, and slowly Jim starts getting used to the loneliness. His beard and hair have grown, but he was the only one awake on the entire ship, no matter how hard he tried. He doesn't feel right. He's always sad and restless. One day, drunk, he stumbles into the room where all the other passengers are asleep in their sleeping capsules. It's completely quiet all around. Jim's loneliness hits him even harder. He realizes he can't keep living like this, all alone. Fed up with the isolation, he starts thinking about ending his life. The idea crosses his mind that if he steps outside the spaceship without his astronaut suit, it'll all be over. With that thought, he moves toward the gate. The main door of the spaceship opens, and he gets ready to switch it on. But at that moment, his hand starts trembling. He loses his courage and, scared, quickly runs back inside. While doing so, his foot hits a bottle of alcohol, and he falls hard on the ground. After he steadies himself and stands up, his eyes land on a sleeping capsule right in front of him. Inside the capsule, a girl is in a deep sleep. Jim slowly walks up to it and checks the capsule system for information about her. The girl's name is Rora. Jim looks at her closely and suddenly realizes that he's starting to like her. The next morning, Jim brings coffee and breakfast and sits near the same capsule. He starts talking to the sleeping girl as if she can hear him. Jim's mind is racing with thoughts. After a while, he goes to the bartender, who's actually a robot, and tells him about his confusion. He says he likes Rora and wants to wake her up, but he also knows that doing so would be really wrong for him. It's not morally right, but his loneliness is breaking him from the inside. He just wants to escape this solitude somehow. Months pass in this struggle, yet he still can't make a final decision. He's constantly torn over whether he should wake Rora or not. Then after months of turmoil, Jim finally makes up his mind. He grabs some stuff, goes to Rora's sleeping capsule, and tampers with its system. Because of this, a technical glitch occurs in the capsule, causing Rora. She starts waking up slowly, but before she's fully awake, Jim quietly slips away from there. Now Jim gets nervous and regrets his actions, wondering if what he did was right or not. He tries to calm himself down and goes back downstairs. After a while, he sees that Aurora is awake and wandering around the spaceship, calling out repeatedly, "Is anyone here?" Just then, Jim appears in front of her. Aurora looks at him and immediately asks, "Are you a passenger or part of the crew?" Jim smiles and replies, "I am a passenger too, and my name's Jim." Aurora asks, "Do you know what's going on here? Why is everyone else still sleeping in their capsules?" Jim tells her he doesn't really know why he woke up early. When Aurora realizes it's still 79 years until they reach their destination, she freaks out. Panicked, she rushes back to her sleeping capsule, hoping she can fall back asleep. But Jim stops her and says that's not possible anymore. He says, "The capsule, they were put on a deadline just to wake us up, not to put us back to sleep." Aurora is shocked when she hears this. Jim tries to calm her down, but Aurora can't accept this truth. Without saying a word, she walks into her cabin and lies down on the bed. The next day, when Aurora wakes up, she goes straight to a computer terminal, trying to find out if there's any way she can sleep in the sleeping capsule again. But no matter how hard she tries, she doesn't find a single ray of hope. Just then, Jim shows up and they have breakfast together. They're leaving, and Ara says maybe there's another way for us to get back to sleep. But Jim, frustrated, replies, "I've tried every possible method for a year now. It's just not possible." Hearing this, Ara gets upset and falls into deep thought. After a moment, she says, "I'm not gonna give up that easily," and quickly walks away. What she didn't know was that the truth was something else entirely. Ara is a writer, so she starts writing a book about everything that happens after waking up. Meanwhile, Jim is at the bartender's. He goes and tells him to keep it a secret that he woke Rora up. The bartender says that yes, he is a robot, but he's a gentleman and would never spill the beans. After that, both of them keep trying every day to figure out how to get some sleep, but all their efforts go in vain. One day, Rora says they should just accept their fate and embrace whatever is happening to them. Slowly, both of them start trying to be happy with the life they have. Jim and Aurora become friends, and they spend time together. They dance, play games, eat, and have drinks too. Over time, Jim falls in love with Rora. One day, he builds a small robot and uses it to send Rora a message saying he wants to take her on a date. Rora happily says yes. That evening, Jim gets ready, goes to Rora's room, and takes her to a bar. The robot compliments them there. After having drinks, they have dinner, and then Jim takes her to where the spacesuits are kept, the ones he wore when he went out into space from the ship. That's Rora. The vast, endless beauty of space is visible outside, and Aurora really loves it. She gets emotional. Then both of them come back inside the spaceship, and they start falling in love with each other. Some time passes, and Aurora's birthday arrives. Jim is really happy on her birthday, and thinks that today he'll propose to her by giving her a ring. Jim and the robot are talking when Jim goes to the washroom and looks at the ring he's going to give Aurora. Meanwhile, the robot, he says, "I remember this day a year ago when Jim was so eager to meet you." Aurora frowns and says, "How could Jim be eager to meet me? He didn't even know me back then." The robot explains that Jim spent months wondering whether he should wake her up or not, and in the end, he did wake her. Hearing this, Rao is shocked and tears fill his eyes. The robot shares this because Jim had just said that there should be no secrets between them. Just then, Jim arrives, and Aurora asks him, "Did you?" Jim wakes her up, knowing the robot must have told him everything. He quietly says, "Yeah, I woke you up." He starts to come closer, but Aurora, angry, snaps, "Stay away from me." Aurora completely breaks down. She had built a whole new world with Jim, and now it all shattered in an instant. She begins to feel like Jim has really wronged her. She says, "I need to go back. I need to go back," and heads back to her cabin. She's confused and doesn't know what to do. Meanwhile, Jim is also really upset and troubled. A lot of time passes, and they don't talk at all. Then one day, Aurora goes to the place where Jim has planted a tree and some small plants. Standing there, she feels really sad and upset. As she's about to leave, suddenly she hears a man's voice. He's standing near the tree, shouting loudly, "Who planted this tree in my ship?" Aurora and Jim run over, and both say, "We woke up earlier than we were supposed to." The man is surprised when he hears this. Turns out his sleeping capsule had malfunctioned. He was the one who woke up first, and this guy is none other than the ship's captain. He decides to go check out the problem himself. He has the ship's master ID, which lets him access any part of the ship and inspect everything. When he checks all the sleeping capsules, he finds out that Jim's capsule was malfunctioning, but Rora's capsule was deliberately tampered with. The captain asks Jim, "Did you wake her up?" Jim nods and replies, "Yes, Captain." Then the captain asks, "Did she know?" Jim says, "Yeah, he knows." After that, the captain tries his best to fix everything, but he just woke up from a long sleep, so he's not feeling well and goes to rest. That night, the ship's artificial gravity shuts off and everything starts floating in the air. Meanwhile, Rora is in the swimming pool when suddenly all the water in the pool starts floating too. She gets trapped underwater and struggles to get out. Her breathing starts to stop and she's about to pass out, but right at that moment, the ship's gravity suddenly kicks back on, causing the water to drop down and saving Aurora. The next day, Jim and Aurora check the ship again. After a while, they find out that all these problems started because of a collision that happened 2 years ago. When the huge meteor hit the ship at the beginning of the movie, it caused major damage, and over time, the ship's machines started breaking down. That's why Jim's sleeping capsule failed, and he woke up earlier than planned. Now the situation had gotten even worse, and if they didn't fix it quickly, as soon as they are kicked out, all 5,000 passengers and crew on the ship will wake up and die before reaching their destination. The moment they realize this, the captain's health takes a turn for the worse, and he faints. Jim and Rora panic and rush him to the medical room. The computer scans his body and then tells them he only has a few hours left. Hearing this, Jim and Rora get really worried. Before dying, the captain gives Jim his master ID and says, "With this ID, you can access any part of the ship. Hurry, figure out a solution to this problem and fix it. And yeah, you both need to look out for each other." After a while, the captain dies. By now, Jim and Aurora had realized the ship was in really bad shape and needed urgent repairs. They started trying to find the problem, and while checking, they discovered the ship's temperature was steadily rising. Taking a closer look, they found a hole in the ship that was letting heat build up inside. If they didn't fix it quickly, the ship could explode. The solution was, Jim decides to go outside and open the main door so the heat inside can escape. But it's super dangerous. Whoever goes out to open the door might never come back. The moment the door opens, a blast of intense heat will rush out and burn them. Still, Jim makes up his mind to do it, no matter what. He puts on his spacesuit and gets ready to go outside. Ra watches him, tears in her eyes, and through her sobs, she says, "You have to come back. I can't be alone on the ship without you." Jim smiles, and then Jim slowly moves toward the airlock. As soon as he reaches outside the ship, Rora controls the system from inside. Jim slowly approaches the main door, and just when he gets there, Yura switches it on. Suddenly, the main door of the ship bursts open, and a fierce fire and intense heat rush out. Flames spread everywhere, so hot they could melt metal. But Jim had brought along a strong metal shield to protect himself from the fire. He shields himself with it, and as soon as all the fire comes out, the door slams shut quickly. He's going out, but suddenly there's a huge pressure at the gym that starts pushing him out really fast. Because of that pressure, his safety rope, which was tied to the ship, snaps. At the same time, his spacesuit gets a tear and oxygen starts leaking. He begins having trouble breathing, his vision blurs, and he slowly starts passing out. Jim begins drifting far away into the vast space. Even while losing consciousness, he tries to tell Aurora that he can't come back inside because his safety rope has broken. As soon as she hears, Aurora panics, quickly puts on her spacesuit without wasting any time, and rushes out to bring Jim back. She swims towards him with all her strength, but just at the crucial moment, her rope falls short and she can't reach Jim. Jim starts drifting further away. Suddenly, Aurora spots Jim's broken rope. Without thinking, she lunges and grabs it, using all her strength to pull Jim back towards the spaceship. Somehow, she manages to bring him inside. The moment she takes off Jim's helmet, she sees that he's stopped breathing. Panicking, she immediately takes him to the medical room and places him in the machine. The computer scans him and, in a cold voice, says that Jim is no longer in this world. Hearing this, Aurora starts crying, but doesn't give up. She orders the machine to start Jim's full treatment all at once. The computer refuses. Then she takes out the captain's ID, swipes it on the machine, and gives the order again. This time, the computer starts treatment right away. Jim's body twitches, his heartbeat slowly begins to return, and then suddenly, he starts breathing again. Tears of joy fill Aurora's eyes. She hugs Jim tightly and kisses him happily. In that moment, she realizes how scared he must have been when he was alone on the ship. After that, they forget all their fights. Soon, Jim completely recovers. One day, he takes Aurora to a special place where he's working on a machine. Actually, it's the dispenser's scanner machine, but Jim has converted it into a sleeping capsule. The thing is, only one of them can sleep in it at a time. So Jim tells Aurora, "You go back to sleep, wake up after 90 years in this new world." Then Aurora asks, "What about you?" Jim says, "Don't worry about me, I'll be fine." But now Aurora's feelings have changed. She looks at Jim and smiles, saying, "You don't need to worry about that anymore." After that, they both happily start living their lives. One evening, Jim gives Aurora the ring he was going to give her on her birthday. Aurora happily puts it on, and together they begin a new life. Meanwhile, Aurora is writing a book. She records everything that happened throughout this entire journey. Slowly, 88 years pass. Now the spaceship is about to reach its destination, Homestead. When all the passengers and crew members wake up and come out, they see that inside the ship, a beautiful forest has grown. Lush green trees and vines everywhere. Then they read a book written by Aurora, which says that while they were all in a long, deep sleep, a lot happened here. They lived their whole lives happily right here on this ship. And with that, the movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share.